Hi everyone, and welcome to your practical assessment session 2. So in this little video I'm just going to give you a little bit more information about the 4 practical assessments that you'll be completing as well as the workshop, just so when you rock up on the days you have a bit of an understanding of what you're going to be doing at the zoo with us. So they're going to be a lot of fun and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, so you are going to be doing 4 practical assessments over the 2 assessment days. The first 2 are practical assessment 5. So I'll give you more information about what the actual assessment involves, but it is linked to communicate effectively with clients and team members and assess the welfare status of an animal. So if they're units that you have to do, you don't have credit transfer for, then you have to undertake this assessment in order to complete the assessable component so you can actually completely finish that unit and get your statement of attainment. Same goes for all of them. So practical assessment 6, this one covers your prepare and present information to the public. So if that's a unit that you're doing, then you have to go ahead and do that assessment too. Practical assessment 7 only covers enrichment. So if you need enrichment, go ahead with practical assessment 7. And practical assessment 8 just covers condition animal behaviour. Now I'm going to go through each of the assessments in a little bit more detail so you know what's going to happen when you arrive for your assessment days. So practical assessment 5, which covers communicate effectively and assess the welfare of an animal. You'll only have recently done the assess the welfare of the animal unit, so it'll be very fresh in your mind, which is wonderful. For this one, it's quite interesting. What's going to happen is at your zoo, one animal will be chosen and this animal will be under a welfare assessment already. So it might be an animal that is a little bit older in age, it might be an animal that has a long-term health issue or a disability. So you're going to be reviewing that animal. So when you're with us at the zoo with your trainer, you're going to hear a little bit more about the animal from somebody who works with the animal, so one of the animal's keepers. You're going to be watching that animal and looking at its behaviour and trying to work out if you can see any behaviour that relates to any issues that animal may have. So lots of observations, just watching it. Then you're going to come together in a team and you're going to complete a welfare assessment. So this is basically it's a modified aged animal assessment or quality of life. Depending on what site you're at, they're basically the same thing. Different zoos use different terminology. But you'll undertake this welfare assessment, you'll use the information you've been given, you'll use the information that you also gained from your own observations, and you'll complete a welfare assessment. So you'll actually calculate, you'll end up with a number, and once you've got that number, you'll determine where that fits for the animal's future, and you'll come up with some strategies for the animal. So you're going to be doing this, you'll be completing your assessment, then you're going to talk about it in a team meeting setting with your group, which are of course your classmates. And from that, during that time in your group, you need to communicate effectively to make sure that you end up with an outcome that you're all comfortable with. Okay, so it's how you work together, how you can get your point across, how you can be respectful of other people's points, and how you can get the information in front of you to come to a conclusion that you all agree about. It's actually a little bit challenging at times, but it's very interesting. So you'll have that meeting, you'll complete your welfare assessment, you'll come up with what your plan is for that animal, and then you're going to present that information back to stakeholders, which is your trainer and your support officer and anyone else we grab at the time. And then so you need to present that information and explain why you came to it, and we'll question you, we'll give you some, we'll put some really hard questions in there to make you think. And then last but not least, you'll actually complete a couple of questions at the end. And that will all be done by observation checklist. So we'll be watching you and ticking off as you go. Okay, so as far as the evidence you have to submit for this assessment, so same deal as you're used to with your practice assessment 1, 2, 3 and 4 that you've already done. We do the observation checklist, the trainer submits that, but you still have to put your documentary evidence in. So it's certainly not as much as what you've done before, but there are a few things you do have to submit. So for this particular one, you will submit your welfare assessment. That's where you've done all your calculations and put all your suggestions and strategies in place. So if you do it really neatly, or you can actually do it straight onto your computer during your team meeting, and that way you can just submit it straight away. It's a lot quicker. That's fine. You do have to take meeting minutes from your team meeting. So again, you can type them in as you go, or you can just have a written is fine, as long as it's neat enough that we can read your writing, and also that they're detailed enough. That was one of the problems we found with PA4. Meeting minutes aren't detailed enough. Okay, so just remember, anybody is reading those minutes. Somebody who doesn't know the situation, wasn't at the meeting, you need to make sure that you provide enough detail so they totally understand what's going on just from reading your notes. Okay, if you keep that in the back of your mind, you won't need to resubmit, please. And then there's 5 questions in Accelerate that you just question and answer, nice and quick and easy. Okay, and that's all you have to do for PA5. So it's a good one. I enjoy it. Okay, next up is your practical assessment 6. Now, this one is going to be so easy because you've already written it. You're bringing it with you, you're completely prepared, and that is your keeper talk. So you've already planned out your keeper talk. It was part of your theory assessment 2 from Prepare and Present Information, so you're going to have already completed this. You're just going to bring your talk with you. If you need anything, if you've got any props or anything, bring that with you as well. Make sure you've also prepared your answers to the media questions, because you will be asked one of those questions. I don't know which one, that's up to your trainer on the day. They'll just randomly ask you a question and you'll be assessed on how well you are prepared to answer that question. You're going to use presentation equipment, so we'll have you on a microphone, so it's a handheld microphone. So we'll get you talking into that, getting used to the feel of that. You will be on the microphone, you'll be talking. There might be public around, just depends what time you're doing your talk. So you just have to be respectful, answer any questions that are asked of you. You will be asked questions from your trainer and from your teammates or your classmates. Make sure you try and get a bit of participation with your audience as well. So this would have all been part of your planning anyway. You will have one of your classmates do a presentation feedback form on your presentation. So someone else besides the trainer. Trainer will do an OBS checklist, but one of your classmates will also do an evaluation of your presentation, and you will do an evaluation of someone else's presentation. Okay, so for every single person, you'll get your observation checklists, you'll get feedback and questions from your trainer, you'll get an observation, you'll get a evaluation or presentation feedback form from a teammate and get asked questions from your team, and you will do the same for another teammate doing the talk. Does that make sense? That was a lot. But yeah, so everyone will take part in all of those aspects. And it's only a 5-minute talk, so please don't worry about it. And again, what is the evidence that you need to submit into Accelerate? Super quick for this one because you've already done it. Everything is already done. So you're going to have the presentation feedback form that a classmate did on you. So you can just take a clear photo of that and you can upload the photo. That is fine. Or we can scan it while you're at the zoo, whatever you prefer. You will upload the feedback form you did on a classmate. Again, they'll have to get a copy of that. So the 2 forms will get uploaded by you. And there's a single question, that you have to answer. Okay, super quick and easy, this one. Okay, practical assessment 7. This is a lot of people's favourite, so I hope you think so too. With this one, it's all about enrichment. This one just covers the enrichment unit, and what you're going to do, you're going to be given a species that's been booked in for your group. You are going to think about what's suitable for that animal. You're going to make up some enrichment. The enrichment you make up is already approved at the zoo. So you're going to make up some approved enrichment following proper instructions and following WHS considerations. You are going to watch your animals for a while to see what they're doing, and then the keeper will turn up and give them the enrichment. Okay, then you're going to keep watching them to see what kind of behaviour change you get. And then you'll go back to the room and you'll talk about it with your group and you'll work on what you can actually improve. Okay, so to put it really simply, identify behaviours. So what do you want your animals to be doing? So how can you make them do that? So maybe promote natural behaviour, and you're going to do that through enrichment, hint, hint. You're going to identify the appropriate enrichment item, but we will actually have that the type of item will already be prearranged for you, but you'll be able to explain why it's appropriate. You'll prepare the enrichment item. You'll watch the animal before and after you give them the enrichment item. You'll make observations, write down in a daily report about that, and then you're going to review and document modifications. So you're going to complete a approval form, and that approval form is going to be based on a new and improved item. So you're going to look at the item you gave and you're going to make it better. So again, what are you actually uploading? Just your daily report. So that's the same daily report you've used in PA 1, 2 and 3. You'll use it again in our last assessment session later in the year. So you're probably super familiar with it by now. But you're going to do a daily report and you're going to have behaviours in there of what you saw before, what you saw after the enrichment's given, and you'll also put a note that you gave them the enrichment and how they interacted with it. And then your animal enrichment approval form. Okay, so this is just an Accelerate for you to download, fill it out and upload it. So basically all you do is you'll make your enrichment item, you'll take a photo of it, stick that in your form, and then after you've watched the animal with it, you're going to determine what you can do to make it better. Okay, so your approval form will be for your new and improved enrichment item. And that's it, that's the only two things you need to submit. Look, I just wanted to pop this daily report in as a super quick reminder of how you fill it out. Just that's, you know, I don't want to have to get you to resubmit just for something minor. So just to have a quick look at it, the main thing we need you to do is make sure you use the correct code. Okay, so remember it is an Excel spreadsheet when you do get it out of it, download it out of Accelerate. On the bottom, you've got the two tabs. You can see they're circled. You've got the codes. If you click on that, it opens up to the blue writing you can see on the screen as well. And you can see it's got animal information, whether it's diets, whether it's behaviours. So you'll be making behavioural notes. You'll also put, well, depending on what enrichment. If it's food-based enrichment, you can put it under a diet note. Depends what it is. But you'll be making notes about how they interact with that enrichment item, and then obviously behaviour before and behaviour after. Okay, so please just make sure that you are completing that daily report correctly. I just hate sending them back. So that's just a little quick reminder for you. And again, you've used them before and you'll use them again in the next session. So just a quick reminder. Okay, so your last but definitely not least practical assessment you'll be doing is your prac assessment 8. So this one is all about conditioning. This is great. It's great for the trainer. Great one for us to watch. So you're going to be conditioning an animal. So we'll actually give you a printed out worksheet for this one. You can actually you can go and look at it in Accelerate, but we'll actually give you a printed copy. So you can complete it all on that printed copy. Your trainer will sign that printed copy. So if you do it neat enough, we can simply scan it and upload it as your evidence. So aim for that because it just cuts down the amount of work you have to do. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be given a behaviour. You won't pick it. It's literally picking out of a hat. So we've got some pre-arranged behaviours. So your little behaviour card, you'll be given that behaviour. You're not going to show anyone that behaviour. That is just for you to look at. Don't show your partner. You'll be partnered up. You're going to answer some questions based on the behaviour you've been given. So just to think about how you're going to go about it. And you know, if your partner is capable of it, that kind of thing. Then you're going to complete a training and conditioning plan. It's just a quick basic one, but you'll look at like what your steps are. You are then going to train your assigned behaviour. So you're going to train your partner, and you'll have your trainer and assessor there watching, doing an observation checklist, which is in your little written document. So they'll be watching you do that. You're then going to do reporting requirements. So if you train your behaviour, you need to write down how the animal went. Okay, exactly the same thing we do as a keeper when we do training sessions. So you'll do your reporting. You're then going to answer some questions. So we've given you some questions we want you to come up with answers for. And once you come up with those answers, you're then going to have a little interview with your trainer. We'll have a stakeholder there as well. So you're going to explain your answers, how you came up with them. They will also ask you some questions as well. So it might be on the information you've given, or it might be on your whole training plan, or it might be on just how it went. And then last but not least, some self-reflection questions. And these are really important because these help you understand what your animal's feeling and thinking. And that's really beneficial because then you're going to go away, you might have already started, but you're going to go away and of course train your animal yourself. Okay, so these questions will really help get your head around what changes you might need to make to be as effective as possible and work as effectively as possible with your animal. Okay, so all of this will be done on the one document. Your trainer will be signing it a few times to show that the steps are completed. and you'll take that home with you. Just don't lose that document. In fact, you don't even have to take it home. We can scan it and upload on the day, and you can straight away put it into Accelerate as your evidence, because that's all you need to do. It's just that one document. So this assessment will be completed in full on the day. There's nothing else for you to do other than submit the document. Okay, so if you just do it as neat as possible, don't lose it, scan it, upload it on the day. Assessment PA8 is done and dusted. All right, the other thing you'll be doing during your assessment session 2 is your husbandry manual workshop. Okay, so you've already had one session on what a husbandry manual is, how you're going to write it. You're given the template, you're given your species, and you were told what to get up to, how much to write. So what we're going to do during, these are very quick sessions, we'll do a little bit each day. So much quicker than last time, but what we're going to do is just a little bit of a recap. We're going to get a little bit more information on exhibit design and standards. So we're going to have a closer look. What is your enclosure? Does it fit the standard? And we can help you with that. The trainers will be available. You'll have one or two trainers around. So the other thing you can do is check in with them, you can show them what you've done. We'll actually get you to tell everyone how you're going, what you're up to, but show the trainer what you've done, and anywhere you're stuck. So if there's a certain document you can't find, or if there's, just a big question, this is where you need to make use of having those trainers in the classroom. Okay, so it's a really good time for you to get that done. And then we'll talk about the assessment. So what you've got, what you need to do in your last assessment session, which is session 3. So that's where you're going to submit your husbandry manual and the additional assessment requirements as well, which we'll go through during this assessment session. So in order to take full use of that husbandry manual session 2 and the time with your trainer, please make sure you bring what you've already done. So bring your husbandry manual that you've completed. Now remember, during session 1 you were told that you need to complete up to and including section 7. So if you haven't done that, make sure you get that last bit done by the time you rock up for your assessment session or your class. And any questions, so bring questions or documents you want help finding. Okay, bring them with you. The more prepared you are and organised you are, the more you're going to get out of that session and the time with the trainer. Okay, so make sure you bring it with you. Okay, what are you going to wear? Now, it's not as extreme. During your first assessment sessions, you were out in the zoo, scrubbing things, raking things, hosing things, and probably got quite dirty. It's not going to be like that. Half of it will be in the classroom, but there will also be time out in the zoo. So because we are still out and about, we are around members of the public, we do ask that you still wear appropriate uniform. So your TTI top and your neutral colours, appropriate shoes, and look, it's going ahead, rain, hail or shine. So if you're out doing your keep a talk in pouring rain, you're out doing your keep a talk in pouring rain. I'll give you an umbrella, it's fine. But we will be going ahead regardless. We'll also be out doing observations of the animals for enrichment and observation and talk with the welfare. So you will still be out and about a bit, so please make sure that you do dress and bring appropriate equipment for that. Okay, what do you need to bring with you? As always, we say a face mask. We live in an evolving world. Who knows what's going to happen? And also depending on where we're going and what we're doing. In fact, have your face mask, because with enrichment, depending on the species, if it is a COVID susceptible species, you will need to wear gloves and a mask while you're interacting with those enrichment items. So bring your face mask. Bring pen, notepad, paper. You're going to be making notes just like you did out and about during your other assessment day sessions. So bring something to make those notes with. Because you do have, you can, for example, with PA5, you can be doing your paperwork, your evidence straight into your laptop, like put it straight into your computer so you don't have to write it again. Make sure you do have your laptop, and of course for husbandry you'll need it too. So bring your laptop, bring your clicker, okay? So during the conditioned animals unit you were given a clicker. Make sure you bring that with you. You're going to need that clicker for PA8, and we don't have spare ones. So please make sure you've all been given one, bring that clicker with you. And then lastly, all your husbandry files, and of course you'll keep a talk for PA6. Make sure you come prepared to do that talk. So bring your, you're not going to have your talk written out in front of you, but you might have, you know, a little cheat sheet that you want to look at before you get up there and do your talk. So bring whatever you have prepared for that assessment, that Keeper Talk assessment as well. Yeah, look, same as we have for all the other APRAC assessments you've already done. You know this. Be willing to participate, come prepared, be respectful, listen to instructions, and bring the items that we've already mentioned. That would be great. And again, same as you did last time, you will sign your attendance and declaration sheet, just basically saying, yes, I'm going to be assessed, and yes, I was assessed. And yeah, we'll be observing to do those observation checklists. And again, we might even take a little bit of footage, some photos as evidence as well while you're going. So being in the zoo environment, regardless of what we're doing, safety is number one. So exactly the same as what you're used to with your last prac assessments and with your practical placement. Listen and follow direction of keepers and your trainers at all times, especially if we're in an area that's not a public area. Only go where you're specifically told to go. Don't go touching animals. Maintain your COVID protocols. And of course, your biosecurity protocols at all times. And I know that you're all very well versed in all of those things now. Okay, so Lee has put you into groups in your last Prepare and Present class. So you can see there you are now either in Group 1 or Group 2. Doesn't matter which group you're in because you're all going to be attending the same days. But just so you know where you fit with your Keeper Talk, I guess. You can see there on the Thursday, Group 1 will be doing their Welfare PA5 and their Keeper Talk PA6. And then on the Friday, they'll be doing 7 enrichment and 8 conditioning. And then Group 2, you're going to be starting with your conditioning 8 and enrichment 7. And on the Friday, you'll go ahead with your Welfare 5 and your Talk number 6. Each morning, we will start as one big class doing husbandry manual work. So we'll do that on both the Thursday morning and the Friday morning, and then we'll divide off with 2 different trainers working on those 2 different groups of assessments. So make sure you know where you sit in your groups, make sure you're arriving there, well, both days 8 a.m. start, and you must attend both days, okay? We need to see you there Thursday and Friday. Lastly, 3 of you have to still complete your Communicate Effectively theory assessment through 3 role plays. You know who you are, so we'll be catching you Friday afternoon to give yourself a little bit, you know, maybe another 10-15 minutes at the end of class so we can get those completed with your trainer as well. That's the plan. Okay, if you have any final questions, please feel free to email myself or grab your support officer Jess. So you can grab us if you see us in the office, or of course just email us. Also, there is information on Accelerate. You can have a look at the student instructions. I will have them printed out and they will be in the room so you can see them on the day, both days. So basically when you come in, we'll get you all together. We'll start our husbandry manual all together as one big class, and then we'll do that each morning, and then we'll move off into our assessments. So come prepared, get excited. We're looking forward to it, and we will see you there very soon.